Ooh, this one is in the explicit form. They wouldn't have technically, can you see that this part, they could, oh, they still have to have a command word there. We need graph. They could just ask you to graph this. Because you would have to recognize, I think this is related to the square root graph. There's something in it that's kind of giving that away. So, we've got that in mind. They wouldn't have to give you the original graph, but the textbook likes to always do that. Give you the original graph, but you'll be expected to know how to graph it because you know what this graph looks like to begin with, right? Can you see that this too is going to be vertical translation? I'm going to rewrite it and write it on the other side, right? What's the negative going to do? Vertical or horizontal? It's outside the function. That would be a vertical reflection, right? What about the 3? Horizontal compression, external liars. And the other 3? Horizontal translation, right? Which way do we go? How many? Left. Okay. Perfect. -3 left. Good. So I'm going to rewrite it. And then I'm going to tell you that I set you guys up for failure.
Can you put it into the other part?
Yes. Right? Good. But a lot of you had already forgotten the special note that we have. Is not 3 to the left. I kind of made it nonchalant when I'm sorry. I did it on purpose. Right? I did it kind of nonchalant, say, what should this do? Oh yeah, that's a lie, 1/3. How did we go left? How many? 3? Yeah, perfect. But it's not 3, right? Because it's not in factored form. So you would have to first factor out that 3. And it's going to be 1 to the left. And then we need to move the 2 over. So we've done this already. We already labeled this vertical reflection, this horizontal compression, horizontal translation, and vertical translation. And now we want to graph. So definitely on the square root graph, you're going to use 0, 0. Normally we have these 3 points. I'm also going to think about a 4th point on here. I'm going to put 1, 1 and have us run into fractions. But then instead of choosing 4, 2, I'm going to choose 9, 3. Sometimes a little early mental math can save you later on. We'll see if we can figure out why I chose 9, 3. But let's get ourselves set up. We do have stretches, and we do have translations, and we have reflections. So we always do reflections, compressions, stretches first. So above this, the horizontal compression means I'm going to multiply my x by 1/3. X's are lives. I'm going to multiply my y, the reflection multiplies your y, by -1. The horizontal translation is, now that it's in factored form, only 1 to the left, and the vertical translation is 2 up. As a result, multiplying them, well, 0, 0 is easy. X by 1/3, we run into a fraction. Now, it's not wrong, but it's just a little bit more complicated to work with. Mental math is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Y by -1, this would be -1. Now, choosing 9, can you see why that's nice? Because when I multiply by 1/3, I get 3. And by -1, -3. 1 to the left, -1, 2 up, 2. 1 to the left, what is 1 to the left of 1/3? Perfect. How do you subtract fractions? You need a common denominator, so it's really 1/3 minus 3 over 3. to get negative 2/3. And 2 up will get you to 1. And finally, 1 to the left is 2. And 2 up, negative 1. Again, I'm going to draw this off to the side here. So negative 1, comma 2. Negative 2/3, comma 1. Maybe I don't even just estimate where negative 2/3 would be. And then 2, comma negative 1. There's our final graph. Some things that are important. This is the starting point. So I need to see which point that corresponded to. Because sometimes we draw our 3 points and then we connect them in the wrong way, or have our graph going in the wrong direction. Okay? This one had a vertical reflection, so the curve of this graph is now curving down here. They will be checking the shape of your graph. So had I drawn this just with a straight line, I would lose a half mark on the exam because they would say, you should know that a square root graph has a curve. So we have to know our parent graph's general shape when we graph our final graph as well. Does it ask for domain and range?
Yep.
Of course. Of each one?
Nope, only the
Oh.
ladder graph, only the graph that we wrote.
Small victory. Okay, so for just the blue one. Domain, our x values are bigger than or equal to -1. And a range, our y values are less than or equal to 2. Questions for practice are 8 and 10. I just want to take a peek at them. Oh, 8 is already in factored form. Oh, and so is, well, 10b is and isn't quite in the right form. You're going to have to play around with 10b a little bit, maybe do some manipulations.